welcome to National Stadium, the home of Hume City FC. Tonight, we're going to battle against Port Melbourne Sharks, and we need you, the Red, White and Army, to bring the noise and support the boys as they fight for 3 points. Before we go into the action, we'd like to take a moment to thank our amazing sponsors who make life possible. National, Palermo Mercury, Drippy Finance, Chenol, the Graham Hotel, Tech Foods, Clearview Windows, Grand Foods, Maxfield, Straight Line, Aviso Specialty, Boss Sign, AS Lodge Tennis Courts, RHS Stone, Roxburgh Park, Sultan Halal Meat and Small Goods, Alton Bush, Lordy Motors, Checkclad, The Arcos, Optimum Building Services, Mastercore, Audible Industries, Prestige Panel Beaters, Rectify, Sahara, Stern Adventures, Social Fair, Altitude, Wasteset, and Westwood Wheels and Tires.
Sorry, Matt. Oh, yeah.
Zahi Aziz, Mason Tapafu, Aaron Reardon, Lloyd Eastgrove, Vidkan Kurda, Josh Bingham, Mark Ochang, Harry Ascroft, and Rob Harker.
Sorry, what was your name, mate?
Cade. Cade. What's your name?
How you doing?
Chris. Cool.
Do you work for the club or for sports cars?
Sports cars.
Oh, awesome.
The NPL, yeah.
No, that's all right. Do you mind? I just haven't hooked one of these up before. Do you mind hooking this up if you've got someone out to do it?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly ask for your attention?
So my headphone jack's too small for that one there.
For this one?
Yeah.
What about that one?
No, for this one, for the headphone one. Yeah, it's too small for that one.
Oh, you don't have another?
No, I've got my headphones, but that's not a headset.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a microphone?
No. So Matt gave me this box today that was missing a microphone. He came back and gave me a boom mic and said set that up as best as you can. But yeah, he goes, I couldn't get a stand mic.
So how am I going to commentate?
Yeah, he kind of screwed me a little bit with that. He was like, yeah. So I got the boom, if we could do it with that.
Well, don't you need that for another clean feed?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So you got no... Right.
Hold that 2 seconds. Let me go. Let me search the box because he had a quick look.
Yeah, it should be. So there's no...
Hang on. There's one right here. I think I fucking didn't check the box properly.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, let's use that then.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
No worries. So, if you could use that with the headphones, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool.
Especially because it's just me, so...
Yeah, and do you mind plugging that in? Do you know how to...
this one?
Yeah.
Does that have a cable?
I've only ever done like one live before.
Oh, right.
A long time ago.
And then reaches the band.
Where's one?
Charged with trespassing and subject to full penalties and sanctions, possibility of legal action.
Now this will be, the mic will be input 1 and the boom will be input 2, yeah?
Does that have to be further away?
Yeah, I'll run it down there and then out to the ground.
Let's go.
Where should I stand? Around here or?
Oh, wherever you're comfortable. Sorry, I'm not getting any audio.
No.
Is that just from the microphone or from?
No, from both of them. So I've got them both turned on. I've got them both plugged in. I'm on to input 2 and on input mic. So
There's something coming through.
yeah, so that's, I'm guessing it's this one.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hear me? Hello, hello.
Yeah, I can't hear nothing. It's definitely all plugged in.
What's that? I don't know. You have to ask him. Yes. And good evening, welcome to Nassiol Stadium on a bloody freezing Friday night in Broadmeadows. How's that sound? Everything good? Blah, blah, blah. Can you hear that? No. You tell us when we're right to go.
Let's go.
With only a handful of rounds left in the season. Cade Lucas is my name. I'll be taking you through the action tonight solo. Adam Palombi was to be with me, but he's feeling a bit under the weather, so get well soon, Adam. And hopefully the football we see out here this evening will warm things up, because it is an absolutely freezing night, probably the coldest night I've experienced all season. It's very breezy as well, a strong wind whipping in from the northeast, so that could affect proceedings also. Port Melbourne in the white with blue and red trim, and Hume City in their traditional red strip. Let's go through the starting lineups before we get this one underway. The big news for Hume City is that Michael Weir has been dropped, their normal number one goalkeeper. In comes Damon Camilleri in his place, whilst there's Zani Adis, Mason Tatafu, Aaron Reardon, Lloyd Isgrove, Godfrey DeBelle, Burkan Kurdar, Josh Bingham the skipper, Mark Ocheng, Harry Ashcroft and Robert Harker. Whilst for Port Melbourne, it's Owen McCloskey, Riyad Mouet, Anthony Laban, the skipper, Maker in midfield, Mitchell Trzeski, Amenenhom, Cummins, George Mills, Phil Harbinson up top, William Gillingham, Daniel Serra and Luka Romic in goal. So we're underway here. Port Melbourne kicking off, going towards the right of your screen, or the northern end of the stadium in this first half. Hume going towards the left of your screen, or the southern end, probably favoured somewhat by the breeze which is going across the stadium. As you can probably see on the footage, the fans here are all rugged up, and they're mostly up in the club rooms tonight. A few hardy souls out in the seats, but everyone else is wisely decided to stay indoors because it is a frigid evening. But it's an important one, particularly for Hume City. They're currently 6th. They've got the likes of Green Gully breathing down their necks. Also, Dandenong City vying for a final spot. Whilst Port Melbourne, mathematically they're still alive, but they are 13th with just 4 wins, 3 draws and 15 losses. And it looks increasingly unlikely that they, or any of the other two sides rather, in the relegation zone will get out of trouble. Going down in midfield there was Reardon. He was clattered into from behind. Gets up a bit gingerly, the man in the fluoro yellow boots. And referee Daniel Woodiat blows the whistle for the first time. We have a free kick here. After just over 60 seconds. So Hume looking to take an early lead. Both these sides coming into this game with pretty poor form. Hume have lost their last 4 and are without a win in 5, whilst Port Melbourne have lost their last 3. So both teams will be keen to snap their recent run as it's lofted into the area by Kurdan. Nothing doing. Comes out to Bingham, who hoists it high into the night sky, right onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Otching will try and recover here. Here's Kerdar wheeling around. He's got Harbinson applying pressure, and Harbinson won the ball back. Can they go on the break here, the visitors? Mills out towards Harbinson. Can't quite control it. It's a tricky one on the outside of his boot, and he ended up on his backside. Finn Harbinson, who's found the going a bit tough since crossing from Bulleen in the recent transfer window. Here's Romich in goal for Port Melbourne. Camus. Mills, another player who's recently changed clubs, coming back to Port Melbourne after stints with Avondale and South. Hume coming forward here. Bingham gets it straight into the back of Gillingham, the centre-back, and that ricochets out of play for the first corner of the night. And it goes the way of the home side, who have certainly started on the front foot. As you would expect, there's some 16 points between them on the table. Hume with more than double Port Melbourne's points tally, so you'd expect them to look a bit more impressive, and they have certainly done in the early stages. As the corner comes in, it's set up in the breeze, and then the header from Tatafu just hung up over the crossbar and eventually went on the wrong side. Tatafu, another recent arrival, coming from the United States, ex-Des Moines Menace, playing in the Midwest of the United States, where they're certainly not unaccustomed to cold weather that would make this seem like summertime, in fact. Also played with Louisville Cardinals in the US college system, Tatafu, so he's done the rounds of the North American system, now here in Melbourne's northern suburbs. Reardon. Tatafu again. DeBelle, Godfrey DeBelle out in front of the grandstand. Maker with him and sees it out of play. Zisgrove. Nice build-up play, this from the home side. Down the near flank. That's a good ball into the area. No one there to meet it on this occasion. DeBelle will recover, though. Back to watching. Hume looking to keep the pressure on here. Now it's Reardon. Addis. That's another good ball in. Again, there was no one arriving in the box to meet it. Here's Isgrove. Now he's darting in board. Mouet got there in time to whisk it away. Sorry, it was Laban, the skipper, rather. Hume certainly looking to make a fast start here. Speaking about recent arrivals or returnees, Nick Hegarty, of course, the coach of Hume City, came back to the club somewhat controversially a month or so ago, and has not been the sort of start he would have wanted. 4 straight defeats. You can certainly see the intensity of his team here, trying to go about changing that. I'd love an early goal. Romich falls down as he gets the clearance away, only as far as Otching. Now towards DeBelle. Kurdan on the turn, back to DeBelle. Mills now. Port Melbourne looking to go on the break. It's clearly how they've been set up. Would have known that Hume would come at them, press high and try and control possession. They would have to try and hit them on the break, and that's how things are playing out here very early on. Here's Camus down the near side. Laban. Gillingham. Looks like they're playing with a back three tonight, Port Melbourne. It was almost a risky pass from Gillingham. Found Mouet. And eventually they get out of a pickle. Here's Trycheski coming forward, back in the side after being sent off against Preston a couple of weeks ago. Maker. You can see the effect of the breeze as that ball sits up. It works okay for Mills. And now the referee's found a free kick. It's going the way of Tatafu. Work it down the grandstand side. Ocheng put it down the channel for DeBelle. Two Sharks with him. Godfrey DeBelle. And numbers win out in the end. Nothing at all forward though for Port Melbourne. They were back in numbers there. Finn Harbison, once the ball missed him, he was rolling all the way back to the keeper Camilleri. Clad in black tonight, Damon Camilleri. Here's Bingham. Hold up play from the big captain. Only scored once this season, but the goals he creates for others, that's his real value. And here's a ball across the area by Addis, who's been very lively early on in these opening 8 or so minutes. Now Mells. Looking for Harbison, but Tatafu was up to it. Scored last week. Mason Tatafu. In fact, not last week, because they were beaten 4-0 by Oakley, but the week before he scored. Both teams held scoreless in their last outings. Port Melbourne haven't scored in 3. They might concede one here. It's Bingham. Oh, he tried to pass it into the net when he probably would have been better advised to put the laces through it. And Romich was thankful that he didn't, because he was able to make a pretty routine save. This Port Melbourne haven't scored in their last 3, and they've conceded plenty in that time too. Very nearly another one there. They lost 2-0 last week to Dandy Thunder. 5-0 the week before to Preston Lions on their last travel away from home. So they'll be desperate to avoid a similar scenario here against Hume. Hume certainly looking for an early breakthrough. Hasn't come for them yet. Plenty of other games going on in the NPL this evening. We'll try and keep you up to date with them as we can. But here's Kurdan again for Hume. Ricochets out into open space. It's a bit of one-way traffic at the moment, as Harbinson looked to have shoved Addis in the back there, and eventually the referee belatedly agrees and blows the free kick. Touch crude there from Harbinson. He's got a very lonely job being the sole man up top tonight for Port Melbourne. Kurdan switches play to the near side. Isgrove hasn't quite hit the heights of last season. Lloyd Isgrove, he's on the times I've seen Hume, he's played more in a wide position, and that seems to be the case here tonight. Only 5 goals, still makes him the equal top scorer for Hume, along with Robert Harker and Burhan Kurdar with 5 apiece. Josh Bingham, who's usually up at the top of the score charts for Hume, he's only got the 1. In previous seasons, he's usually hit double figures by this stage, but not in 2025. As I mentioned earlier, though, his value comes much more than what he provides on the score sheet. Here's Otching, ever present for Hume City, former Adelaide United man. Up towards Harker. And it goes out of play, much to the groans of some of the supporters in the far side. Robert Harker, formerly of Bury and Halifax Town in the UK. Playing in this sort of weather would have been a weekly occurrence. Do have plenty of firepower out there, Hume City. DeBelle, another one. They've lost it in midfield, and here's Mills, that then sends it straight into the arm of DeBelle. The free kick is blown for what happened behind play. And this will give the Sharks a rare foray into the Hume half. They've really gotten out of their own half in the opening 12 minutes or so. It's been very much one-way traffic. It's still 0-0 on the score sheet. It's the most important statistic of all. Sloppy ball there by Moet. Played it first time and put it straight out of play, in front of the grandstand. Moet came off against Preston a few weeks ago, and he looked to have injured his hamstring with an acrobatic goal line clearance. I was commentating that game, and he performed a bicycle kick to kick the ball out, but had to hobble from the ground soon after. Thankfully for the Sharks, he's back on the field. He almost has some more work to do here, but the ball goes all the way through to Romich. The wind picks up again here at Nassiol Stadium. It's cold enough already, but the wind chill is really making it an unpleasant evening to be outdoors. But we're soldiering on for the NPL channel on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the coverage at home in front of the fire or the heater or whatever heating device you have. I'm sure you're very close to it. Hume City looking to warm up here. They've dominated in general possession. They've had a couple of opportunities. No breakthrough as yet. Every Port Melbourne player is in their own half here. As the men in red try and pick them apart. The wind really kicks up again. It is blowing a gale now as Kerdar comes down the channel and wins a corner. And he's got to have some work getting that corner into this sort of breeze. A hurricane has just come through Broadmeadows. Looks like it might have brought a bit of rain with it. Lurko and Kudar somehow got to try and get this corner in. It's loose out towards Harker. Tried to hit it with the back of his head. Didn't really do too much with it. Gillingham. Moet. Back to Gillingham. Port Melbourne already under the cosh, but against this breeze, it does make life difficult for them. It's not going directly north to south, sort of northeast to southwest, but it's still very much affecting the visitors more than the home side. It's just to have dropped a touch, which is nice. Sure, it will only be a momentary lapse though. Just a very inclement evening, as you would expect in the middle of July in Melbourne. It is a winter sport after all. The bell almost fell over, but keeps his balance and now looks to get away, but there's plenty of white shirts ahead of him. Now defending in numbers here, Port Melbourne. A low block as the modern football parlance describes it. Here's Trajeski. They've finally got into the opponent's half. What can they manufacture here? Down the far side. Ball sits up in the breeze. Camilleri comes out and says, that's mine. I think that might be the first foray into the Hume penalty area for Port Melbourne. Played over a quarter of an hour. Kurdan. Bit of squalling rain out there too. Thankfully, we've got some cover here in the scaffolding, which thankfully is still standing. Here's Reardon. Long ball into the area. DeBelle was coming late. Headed away by Muad. Now a flying shot. I think it might have been Otching who got the last touch there. Either way, it was going well wide of the goal. Maxim Godowski would probably be content at the moment, I would say. He would have expected his team to be on the back foot, and they certainly have been, but they've defended fairly resolutely. They've got through the best part of 20 minutes without conceding. Staying in the game is the name of the game for Port Melbourne. Hanging on to their status in the NPL by a thread that's rapidly fraying. Not sure if they can officially drop this weekend, depending on results, but if it's not this weekend, it will be a weekend soon, unless they can start getting some wins. And the teams above them or around them keep losing. Here's Addis in the final third. He's been busy for Hume City. Bingham. Back to Addis. Here's Grove. Kurdan, couldn't quite control it, neither could Maker, and now DeBelle. That's a good shot. He got a piece of it. He was straight at the keeper though, who wraps his arms around it. Gold Coast Knights player Godfrey DeBelle. A few ex-Queensland players out there. I'm sure they're feeling the pinch more than most. Mills. Trajeski, nice touch over towards Maker. Rare foray forward for the visitors. What can they manufacture? Mills down the near side. Into the area. Harbinson arrives. The wind catches it. And Harbinson leaves it for his teammate McCloskey. Harbinson again. Laban. Retreated here, Sharks. Going backwards to try and go forwards again. Mills first time. Over towards McCloskey, who's drifted right across the pitch. The end result is the ball is out of play. Right in front of the Hume City bench where they're all rugged up. As you would expect on a night like this. Moyet, or DeBelle chases him down. Back to the keeper. DeBelle still going. Romic showed some fancy footwork under pressure. That could have been embarrassing. Romic stood his ground, and now Port Melbourne come forward again. They're starting to grow into this game. Harbinson, McCloskey, ball into the box. Oh, Camilleri spilled it, and Port Melbourne have scored. It's George Mells who's tapped it into an open net after Camilleri spilt the ball, and against the run of play, The 13th ranked Port Melbourne Sharks have taken the lead here at Nassiol Stadium. 21 minutes played. They might still be set for relegation, but they're not going to go without a fight, the Sharks. They are in front. It's Hume City 0, Port Melbourne 1. It's George Mell's first goal since returning to JL Murphy Reserve after stints with Avondale and then South Melbourne. He won't score too many easier ones than that. And Damon Camilleri, who's come in place of Michael Weir, won't want to see a replay. Here's Harker. How will Hume respond to that goal? They've had such overwhelming dominance. Will they let the frustration get to them, or will they get straight back on their horse and hit back hard? We'll find out. Here's Reardon, who went to ground, got back up, and then is brought down by Mills, the goal scorer. Referee plays advantage. Addis, he runs into a cul-de-sac. Isgrove keeps it going to Kerdar. DeBell. Oching. Now Harker. And Moyet sees it out of play, concedes a corner. Hume looking to hit back quickly. See the corner flag fluttering there to the point where it's looks like it's about to fly off into the atmosphere. Kerdar sending in the cross. How will the wind affect it? Keeps it as low as he can. Bingham was coming in late, but a good defensive header away. And now Harbinson looks to catch Hume on the break, but watching many players outpace him, and he was stride for stride with Harbinson there as Hume come forward again. Isgrove over the head of the intended target in Harker. That's Port Melbourne's first goal in a month. They've lost their last 3 games and they've been held scoreless in all 3. So let's see how the confidence of scoring will help them here. They've got more defending to do now though, as Harker lifts it into the area. Bingham sniffing around. Moyet is there. Does well under pressure. Trajeski. He's getting his shirt tugged, and then he retaliated a bit there, Trajeski, who wants to watch himself. He got 2 yellows and was sent off a couple of weeks ago up at BT Connor Reserve when coming on as a second half substitute. It's a player who can let the red mist affect him, as though it almost might have there, but he escaped with a talking to from the referee. Kerdar. Oh, sloppy crossfield ball straight into the path of Serra. Laban. Serra again. Addis is there to close it down. Right on the halfway line. Ross Clark, the 4th official. All rugged up. Got a game tomorrow afternoon, he told me pre-match, and heavy rain is forecast, so fair to say he's no fan of the midwinter weather. Port Melbourne are enjoying themselves though, and that's a great ball by the goal scorer Mells. He's looking for Trajeski, who couldn't quite get there, and then grabbed for his hamstring almost, as he may have pinged it striding out to try and reach the ball. He is continuing on though. To Tafu. Hotching. Kurda looking for a disc, but cutting it off is Serra. He saw that coming. Maker accosted by DeBelle in midfield, but he holds his ground, finds Mills. They're certainly having a lot more of the ball now, the Sharks. Not just on top on the scoreboard, but holding their own in general play. As we approach the half-hour mark, an interesting contest playing out here at Nasiol Stadium. It's cold and it's extremely windy, but it's a result plenty of others around the league will be looking at. There's other games going on tonight, but the fact that Port Melbourne have hit the front here will no doubt be noticed across the league. No doubt by some of those teams that are chasing Hume City for a spot in the finals. Dandenong City and Green Gully in particular. Preston are only just ahead of Hume too, so they might have taken note. Still a long way to go though. Hope you can stay with us on YouTube. Kate Lucas with you tonight on this Friday night of round 23. 3 more to go after this. Tafu. Thought about galloping into the Sharks half, but then went back to Ashcroft, his partner in defence tonight for Hume. Ashcroft finds Bingham. Nice pass on towards DeBelle. This is better. DeBelle tees up Harker, and Harker levels the scores. Oh, that was like a hot knife through butter. Hume City back on level terms. And it's the Englishman Rob Harker with his 6th of the campaign. He goes to the top of the charts for Hume City goal scorers. And they won't have scored too many more important goals this season than that one. Just shy of 30 minutes. It's all square again. It's Hume City 1, Port Melbourne 1. And that's a bit more like it from the home team's point of view. And the Sharks just have the wind taken out of their sails a bit. All those Hume fans rugged up in the top of the grandstand or in the club rooms will be feeling a bit better about things. A bad run and then going behind to a team that's spent pretty much the entire campaign in the relegation zone. Really have had some Hume fans questioning just where this season is headed, but a bit more optimistic now. They go forward looking to go in front. Grove. He stretched out to get that pass away and then was caught in the process. He's on his haunches here, the Welshman. He's won a free kick for his team. With this breeze, this could yet prove tricky for the Sharks defenders. Across the half-hour mark. It's a goal apiece. Could Hume City be about to go in front? It's Kurdar to take it. We're all lined up on the edge of the 18-yard box. Kurdar sends it in. Tatafu got up there. Couldn't quite direct it towards goal. Now Harker scored the last goal. In fact, it's Ashcroft, I think, who held it up there. He got it out to a dis. Ball to the back post. Harker's up. And he infringed in trying to get up. He says he got his elbow up to get a bit of leverage and committed a foul in the process.
Yeah, look at him.
It's a sloppy pass by Camus. Hume could be in here again. It's Isgrove. Oh, he was going to have a shot. Maker lunged in, though. Isgrover's down now. Harker with a shot. There's white shirts ahead of him. And Port Melbourne eventually get the ball away to the safety of the touchline. There's a few sore bodies out there. Some rugged challenges from both teams.
Broken one.
And Moet looks as though he's down. Isgrover's up. He's looking a bit ginger. But it's Moet who looks to be the most seriously hurt. He's going to get some attention from the physio. Those knocks in and around the ankle are painful any old time, but especially in this sort of weather. He's up on his feet. That's good to see. It looks like he's going to battle on Moet. There's no sign of any hamstring injuries there, which is what put him out a couple of weeks ago. In fact, he's going to go off to the touchline for a bit of treatment. So they will be down to 10 momentarily here, the Sharks. It does look as though Moet will be able to continue after a bit of treatment from the physio. And we're back underway. Kerdar to the feet of Bingham. Out wide to Oching. Challenged there by McCloskey though. Won the ball and then sent it out for a throw rather than a corner. Muet's back on the field, so it's good news for Port Melbourne. He's got some defending to do here. As Oching has a throw right up against the corner flag, which again is fluttering furiously. Klosky sends it out once again for another throw. Bingham, lovely touch to Bellet. And Romic guessed right, got down to his near post and stopped Hume City going in front. That was a lovely touch by Josh Bingham. That was a training ground move. Just caressed it on the outside of his boot towards De Bellet, who was rushing right onto it. Looked as though his shot was on target too. Romic got down to it. Another warning sign for Port Melbourne. We're in front only moments ago, but they could soon find themselves behind. Just over 10 minutes to play before the break. Kerdar. And he goes down. Laban, defending player, the skipper for Port Melbourne.
Dinosaur.
Hume City fans over in the grandstand not too pleased, but no yellow card, but another free kick. As the wind really kicks up again, you can see the canopy over there that they normally have the Euros in. It's probably been put away, and it looks like the gazebo is being brought down before it blows away to the other side of the world. It's one of those evenings. Anyway, back to the football. Kerdar stands over it. Again, players from both sides lined up along the edge of the penalty box, looking to get on the end of this. Can Hume hit the front? Kerdar whips it in. Camus heads it away. Coming in! Ashcroft, oh, he put the laces through that. And he didn't miss by much. Bounced nicely for him. And he had a free swing at the ball, Harry Ashcroft, in his left boot. I'm not sure the keeper would have been able to do much about it had he kept it under the crossbar. He's Reardon now, bouncing football. Moet will just hack it away towards Trzeski. Hume win it back, and they come again. Oching. Camus cuts out the pass and then knocks it out of play. straight out of play. Still very windy, as I've just mentioned, but the rain, which was hanging around earlier, has stopped, thankfully. Here's Kerdar dinking it over the top to the advantage of Bingham. Some of their build-up play has been quite delightful tonight at times, Hume City, even in these conditions. Until there's some real chemistry between some of their forward players, Bingham and Kerdar, DeBelle. They're disappointed they've only been able to score the one goal so far. And then they've conceded one too. Certainly in terms of general play, they've probably done enough to be in front at this stage of the game and to have a lead going into half-time. Which they still might have, of course. There's still time for them. About 7 or so minutes to go before the break. Here's DeBelle has been dangerous. Ball hacked away from him though. Ashcroft to Tafu. Ashcroft right on halfway. Almost got on the scorer's sheet moments ago. Now he's back in his customary position, deep in defence. To Tafu, now to Kerdar. That play has been brought to a halt. There's a Sharks player down behind play. I think it might be Muet down again. And this time, he mightn't be able to continue. The physio's out once again, but it again looks to be that foot or ankle that he hurt a few minutes earlier that's troubling him. And he needs the help of one of his teammates to get towards the bench, so this is going to force an early sub here for the Sharks. Just over 5 minutes to play before half-time. Is doing his teammate a solid, helping him off the field. We'll wait to see who the Sharks decide to replace him with for the dying embers of this first half. Across 40 minutes. It's going to be Oliver Jankolovsky entering the fray, the under-23 player, one of a number of young players that the Sharks have in their lineup. So it's number 5 replacing number 4. Five minutes to play. Entertaining first half here at Nasiol Stadium. Port Melbourne scoring their first goal in a month to take a shock lead before Robert Harker cancelled it out on the half-hour mark to make it 1-1. And here's Isgrove looking to put his side in front. It skims through the area. Bingham was coming in at a rate of knots. It was just over his head. And a ricocheted out off a Port Melbourne player for a corner. Racking up the corners so far tonight, Hume City. Port Melbourne, by my counting, haven't had one. Hume have had at least half a dozen. Can they make the most of this one? Reardon managed to fashion off a shot, but it was blocked. Ricochets back out to Kerdar. Harker now on the edge of the area. Back to Kerdar. And it ricochets towards DeBelle. Eventually Bromwich gets his hands around it and Port Melbourne survive. disappointed to have lost their lead, but still, all things considered, be very happy to go in a goal apiece, Port Melbourne. A fair while since they've been in that sort of situation after a half of football. They will have the breeze at their backs in this second half ahead too. That's a factor that shouldn't be discounted. There's DeBelle, watching. Harker coming out to hold it up. Back to DeBelle. Hume trying to prize apart these mass Port Melbourne defenders. They're back in numbers. Here's Addis. He's the latest player to try and tease his way through. Now back to Isgrove. It's knocked down, but that's easy pickings for Romich. It's a bit sloppy by Camus. Straight out of play. Straight back under pressure, Port Melbourne. Shoulder to shoulder with Maker. Maker went to ground. DeBelle kept going. Been a live wire in this first half. Kerdar. Harker. Goal scorer for Hume. Oching sends it in. Nobody home. Laban. Now Maker. Get a bit of breathing space here. Port Melbourne. Maker sends it long and it sits up in the breeze and falls nicely for Harvardson. Now down towards Mills. There's not much to go to. Mills goes looking for Harvardson, but he can't get to the ball. It's a tough first half. Inside the final minute of normal time, Ross Clark readies his board. Looks as though it's going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. More than enough time for either side to take the lead, and it's Hume who look the more likely here. Addis. McCloskey bangs it away. There is not a Port Melbourne player anywhere near it. Harbison was the furthest forward player for the Sharks, and he was still in his own half. There's another gust of wind, catches the ball there and sends it straight back out of play. And for another Hume corner, it must have touched a Port Melbourne player on the way through. So there's yet another corner for the home side, nearly all of them coming from that far side where the breeze is blowing. Kerdar goes short this time. Isgrove hits it first time. Harker can't score his second of the half. Beside a half-time lead. Romich, who's had a pretty good game given the pressure his team's defence has been under. He had a few blues the other week when I saw him against Preston. All in all, he's had a pretty good evening so far. Goal notwithstanding. It wasn't really his fault. Might have more work to do here as Bingham strokes it out towards DeBelle. DeBelle now driving up towards the area. Still he's going. He'll have a shot and it ricochets just on the wrong side of the upright. That could have been tricky for Romich. Luckily, the touch that the ball got took it away from goal. And we do have a corner now from the near side. Yet another one for Hume City. Kerdar again to take it. And the home side come from behind to take the lead into the break. Kerdar. That's a great ball in. Oh, and it's in. I'm not sure who it came off. Isgrove's claiming it. And he's getting the plaudits from his teammates. It is Lloyd Isgrove. And he joins Harker on 6 goals for the season. And he does put Hume City in front at half-time. They have come from a goal down. And normal service has been resumed here at Nassiol Stadium. 47 minutes into this first half. And the home side have come the long way around. They went a goal down after about 20 minutes, but goals to Robert Harker and now Lloyd Isgrove from a goalmouth scramble after a corner. And it's Hume City 2, Port Melbourne 0. And the Sharks' plight gets ever more grim. Here's Harker. They might fancy a 30, Hume. They've got time. 20 or so seconds of the 3 minutes of stoppage time to come. Here's Ocheng. Kerdar. He tests out Romich. Port Melbourne keeper is up to the task. And that is half time at Nasiol Stadium on a cold, blustery Friday night. Hume City have had to come from behind. Port Melbourne scored their first goal in 3 weeks through George Mills after 21 minutes after the Hume keeper Camilleri spilt the ball. Mills tapped into an open net and it looked like a huge upset. Could be on the cards, but Hume City quickly got back on their horse and they got an equaliser soon after through Robert Harker. Just
Let's go!
Sink deeper into the relegation mire. It is Hume City 2, Port Melbourne 1.
Simon Trudisky had a header as well saved by Camilleri. Not sure if it counts.
Ashcroft at the back. Harbison with him. Ashcroft just shoves him out of play. And Camilleri with the clearance. He's had a very quiet night, Damon Camilleri, apart from the Port Melbourne goal, which he played a part in by spilling the ball. Other than that, he's been a spectator. That'll change in this half with this breeze as he sends this straight out of play. Port Melbourne made an injury substitute just before half time with Moyet coming off and Jankulovski coming on, but no other substitutes from either side yet. Here's Maker. It's going the wrong way. Big South Sudanese midfielder. Now it's Harbison. Can't do much with that, Finn Harbison. He was a goal scorer with Bulleen in the VPL.
Can't hear. Apparently there's no sound. Yeah, alright. Okay. Just someone texting me.
What about now? Here come Hume through to Tafu. In fact, it's Finn Harbison rather who's coming forward. We've had some technical problems here folks, so we're not sure if you can hear us or not, but in these conditions, some technical difficulties are to be expected, but we're getting word that some of the sound isn't coming through, and now maybe it is coming through. We'll soldier on. Corner here for Port Melbourne. We've crossed 50 minutes. 52, in fact. And it's going to be McCloskey with the corner here for the Sharks. With the aid of the breeze, can they do something with it to get back on level terms? McCloskey floats it in to the back post. Harbinson was there, but nothing doing. As I was mentioning before, we had those technical problems. Harbinson was a goal scorer for Bulleen in VPL1, but he's not a big man. He's certainly not your old-fashioned target man like Harker or Bingham for Hume City. I have to wonder whether he's really suited to that lone striker role. But it's a role he's been asked to play both tonight and in previous weeks since coming to the club, and he's certainly giving it a crack, but it's a pretty tough row to hoe. Here's McCloskey now. Serra. Out now to Laban, the skipper from a long way out of ricochets into the backside of his opponent Reardon, who now sets away the running Isgrove into the breeze, into the Port Melbourne half. They're looking to put this game to bed. Hume City, the third goal should do that. Here's Harker, Isgrove, the two goal scorers combining. Camus got those long legs in the way. Now it's Mako with his equally long legs. Not long enough to keep the ball in play there, though. There's some movement on the Port Melbourne bench below us. They're going to make another change. The Sharks. Meanwhile, it's a throw in the forward third here for Hume City. It's Nathan Dibb, who's stripped and ready to come on, the defender, formerly of Pascoe Vale. Here's Mark Otching. Flying shot from the Hume City mainstay. Romich was happy to see it go past the wrong side of the upright. First real attempt on goal from Hume City in this half as McCloskey just lets the ball slide underneath him and out of play. Isgrove drifting inboard. Reardon from long range. Romich got down to it in the end. I thought he was going to spread it further wide. Reardon, he had a dis open to his left, but he decided to have a ping instead, and it wasn't a bad idea in the end. He does win a corner for his trouble. First of the second half for Hume City, and if my memory's correct, the first at this end of the field all evening. Kerdar to take it. He doesn't beat the first man. Serra. Otching intercepts. They come forward again. Bingham just taken off his toes, but they win it back. Hume. Here's Harker. DeBelle, 3-1. Oh, lovely build-up play there by Hume City. They lost the ball, but then they won it back. And it was some tippy-tappy football in the area, and then tapped in by Godfrey DeBelle, and that should be enough for Hume City to get the 3 points. They've got 3 goals. It's Hume City 3, Port Melbourne 1, and what looked like being a bright evening for Port Melbourne midway through the first half has taken a turn against them, and they now look headed for yet another defeat. And relegation is now not very far away. Daniel Serra comes off, replaced by Nathan Dibb for Port Melbourne. Here's DeBelle, the goal scorer. He was terrific in the first half too. Didn't get on the score sheet, but he certainly looked threatening. Here they come again, Hume. It's DeBelle who scored the last goal. Inboard to Otching. Now towards Harker. Lovely, intricate football again from Hume City. You wouldn't know they've been on a 4-game losing run. Some of the football they've played at times tonight. Especially impressive given the conditions. And they have another corner here. Bingham up. Tatafu tried to keep control of it, couldn't, but Port Melbourne have to content themselves with another corner to defend, this time from the far side. Kerdar to take it again. These deliveries have caused Port Melbourne problems all evening. Can he do the same here again? It's Bingham once again, but Romic paws it away. Reardon keeps the pressure on. Now DeBelle with his back to goal. Out towards Kerdar. Now DeBelle once again. Here's a Port Melbourne defender hanging off him. DeBelle shows strength though to hold it up. And eventually it's gone out of play for a throw. So the Sharks get some respite. Mills gets them up the pitch towards Harbinson, who manages to bring it down this time and then is fouled. Play it quickly. Camus. Now towards McCloskey on the near side. He drifts the ball into the area, but there's nobody home for the visitors. It's been the story of the evening. I could say the story of the year for Port Melbourne. George Mell's goal in the first half is their first in a month. They haven't really looked like adding a second to it. They do have the breeze at their backs though. You've still got time to be able to make the most of it. Dibb couldn't do much there as the ball goes out of play. They do have Aidan Brown on the bench, Port Melbourne, who is more of a traditional target man. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes on before too long. Badly missing Liston Diaz, though, their top scorer, who's been out for a couple of weeks. It's hard enough trying to stave off relegation at the best of times, but especially when you're missing your main goal scorer. Pharaoh is also another one of their main attacking threats, and he's not in the side tonight either. Here's Camus at the back. DeBelle sniffing around. He'd love a second. Jankolovsky with a long ball forward down the channel. Harbinson is there. Tatafu right with him. Harbinson couldn't quite wriggle past. And the last touch, in fact, it came off Tatafu, so it will be a corner here for Port Melbourne. Looked for a moment there as though Tatafu was remonstrating with the linesman. It was going to be a goal kick, but it's not. It is a corner as the breeze kicks up again. We get a goal here just to make things interesting. Port Melbourne across the hour mark. Low flat delivery. A disc got his body behind it. It ricochets back out towards the corner taker. Dibb has just come on. He can't do much with it. And this time it's out for a goal kick. Damon Camilleri makes the long walk over to the corner to retrieve the ball. He's only had the one goal kick into the breeze and he put it straight out of play. He'll be hoping to do a bit better with this one. Luckily his team's got a 3-1 cushion, so that takes a bit of the pressure off. Incidentally, 3-1 is the same scoreline that Hume City defeated Port Melbourne by when they last met. As they messed this up, Hume, and now coming in as Maker into the area, lays the ball across. Oh, Harvinson is just not happening for him. It went behind him when he went to ground, and Ocheng will bring it away. And Hume City think themselves lucky to get out of that. They nearly made a pickle of that clearance. It hit the back of Tatafu, who then missed the ball. Port Melbourne momentarily were in there. Yes, 3-1 was the scoreline when these teams last met on April 11, back in round 10 at JL Murphy Reserve. Port Melbourne actually haven't beaten Hume since 2023. And all time it's Hume who have had the better of their meetings. Of 32 meetings, they've won 16, drawn 8, lost 8. They're going to improve that ledger here tonight by the looks of things. McCloskey wins the ball back right below us and then is brought down rather cynically by Kerdar, who's going to go in the book. First yellow card of the night to Burkan Kerdar, who's no stranger, of course. He's actually the top yellow card recipient in the NPL, and with that one he gets into double figures. The same amount of yellow cards this season as is the number on his back, number 10. And he is complaining to the referee, but he really doesn't have much to complain about. That was about as obvious a yellow as you can get. Romich to Tafu with an acrobatic header, sending it out of play right on halfway. Bouncing ball comes towards Mills and lays it down the channel for Dib, who's been energetic since coming on. He and a disc carry each other over the byline, and then Dib gives a disc a bit of a shove for his trouble. Camilleri hasn't done too well with his goal kicks so far. Let's see if it's third time the charm for him. That's a bit better. At least better off the boot. It still goes out of play. Can't be easy delivering goal kicks into this sort of gale. Here's Laban. Loses the ball to his opposing captain in Bingham, and now it's DeBelle who's away. And it's Harker through the middle. Oh, it's Harker. He's second. Hume City's fourth. Oh, it parted like the Red Seas for Robert Harker. I think a Hume City defender slipped over. Harker couldn't believe his luck, and then he dinked it over the top of Romich. And this is getting ugly now for Port Melbourne. It's Hume City 4, Port Melbourne 1. And with the best part of 20 minutes to play here at Nassie Old Stadium, the home side could rack up a few more if they are in the mood. Robert Harker now has 7 for the season, so he's top of the pops as far as the Hume City goal scorers go. He was briefly joined by Lloyd Isgrove on 6, but with that goal, he's put his nose back in front. The way things are going, he could be in with a shot at a hat-trick here. There's going to be a change for Hume City, their first of the evening. Josh O'Kane rather, is being readied below me. And he is a forward, so who knows, he could be coming on for Harker, in which case he won't have a shot at a hat-trick. Have to wait and see. Goes all the way through to Camilleri, who wraps his body around it. Despite having the breeze, they really haven't looked like scoring in this second half. Port Melbourne, apart from a couple of corners. But otherwise, Camilleri hasn't been too troubled. Hume maybe not quite as dominant statistically as in the first half, but they've scored just as many goals as they did with the breeze at their backs. They've still got just over 20 minutes to play. It's going to be Burkhard Kurdar who comes off for Josh O'Kane. No doubt that recent yellow card probably factors into that. He's had another productive evening though, Kurdar. Not on the score sheet, but his deliveries from set pieces have caused problems all evening. And his range of passing has been a feature too, especially in these conditions. And whilst he would normally be not too happy to be substituted early, probably in this weather he's probably quite happy to come off. Changes for the Sharks too. Maker comes off and Aidan Brown is on, as I speculated earlier on. I thought he might be an option from the bench, and so it is. He's on for the last 20 minutes or so, 21 minutes to be precise. Unfortunately, the scoreline is such that it's probably not going to be something he can affect. 3 goals adrift, Port Melbourne. Just a damage limitation exercise now. We've got the ball in the Hume half at the moment here. Nothing happening on this occasion. Ocheng sends it high into the sky. McMahon can't control it, and again Bingham picks the ball up from him, his opposing captain, and now it's Isgrove down the channel. A couple of Sharks with him. Isgrove goes to ground. He's not happy when he gets up. Felt he was infringed upon, but instead it's his opponent who gets the free kick. Bingham. Nothing ball there from Josh Bingham. Had 2 options in O'Kane and DeBelle and managed to dissect them. Here is O'Kane. He's just come on. He's got 4 goals this season. DeBelle, Ocheng. They combine, and now it's DeBelle taking it to the byline. They're building up again, Hume. It ricochets out to Ocheng. And here on the turn is Harker. He thought he had a hat-trick for a split second there. But the big Englishman puts it into the car park. Preston Lions have taken the lead over Melbourne Victory. So, doesn't look as though Hume will be able to eat into Preston's advantage over them if that scoreline holds. That's where we assume Dandenong City has beaten Oakley. Yes, that's a final score. Dandenong City have beaten Oakley by 1-0. So those two scores, well, one's a result, the other's a score, make Hume's performance here in the second half all the more important. Keep their noses ahead of the chasing pack and keep within striking distance of those ahead. O'Kane. Oching on the near side. Acres of space opening up ahead. DeBelle arrives. Those two have combined all night. Here's DeBelle. Brought down by Trajeski. Nick Hegarty on the touchline below me, not impressed. The referee lets it go. Brown, his first involvement since coming on for the Sharks. Out towards Harbinson. What can he produce here? Finds Mills in the area. Back towards Harbinson. Didn't quite reach him. And a diss. Knocked it out for a corner. That's a bit better from Port. Still time for them to maybe not retrieve this scoreline and get a point or 3 points even, but even just to get a goal or two will do their confidence the world of good. In comes the corner. Mills ricochets out towards Harbinson. Isgrove beats him to it though. Just get a goal, maybe reduce the scoreline, and even if they are relegated this weekend, I'm not exactly sure if that's mathematically possible, but just try and finish these last 3 games on a high. Make the place feel a bit better going into a VPL campaign next season, which looks all but a certainty now. We have a lot of young players out there. They'll certainly feel a lot better about a 4-2 loss or a 4-3 loss than being beaten 4-1, which is the scoreline now. As we close in on the last 15 minutes. Kate Lucas with you on YouTube at a very cold Nassiol Stadium on this Friday night. Hume City have come from behind. They conceded on the 21st minute through George Mills, but then hit back with 4 straight goals. 2 before half-time to Harker and Isgrove, and then after the break, DeBelle and Isgrove. The game going through the motions a little bit now. Here's Ashcroft at the back. Just had to tow it past Harbinson, who could have been in otherwise. Here's Oching mopping up, as he always does for Hume City. What a good, solid player he is. Trajeski gets it out to Yankolovsky, the youngster who came on in the first half after Moyet was injured. Tafu mops up at the back, but he's given the ball away to the skipper, Laban. Mills. Seems like an age ago since he opened the scoring. Here's O'Kane and Harbinson. Eventually it's the home side who win out. And they're on the move now through Isgrove, who's got plenty of defenders around him. He has to tread water a bit. Wait for support to arrive. He's got DeBelle out wide. O'Kane. O'Kane again. Now Reardon. Stretching this Port Melbourne low block from side to side, trying to weave their way through. Here's Isgrove. Now Ashcroft. Bit of a miscue from the veteran defender. Goes up into the night sky and then an acrobatic recovery. And then he keeps it in play. Good work by Ashcroft. Oching mops up again to Isgrove. Back towards Oching. They make something out of nothing here, Hume. Harbinson. Game getting very scrappy now, as they often do around this stage. We're closing in on the 80-minute mark. Hume still with, by my counting, 4 substitutes up their sleeve. It looks like at least 2 of those are readying to come on. I think Port maybe have another 2. Maybe only 1 more, but they certainly do have at least 1. It's Hume making the changes now. And it's Lloyd Isgrove who's going to make way, one of the goal scorers. It's Oliver Killart who will come on for him. Lloyd Isgrove, as I mentioned in the call, he hasn't hit the heights of last season, but he's still got 6 goals. And he's still a handful for any defence in this competition to deal with. And he's had another good night's work completed. And also coming on is Mehmet Yisel. The man he's replacing is Godfrey DeBelle, who goes off on the grandstand side and gets a round of applause from the Hume faithful for his trouble, and Willie should do. He's probably been the best player on the pitch. Scored the 3rd goal, the goal which really killed off the contest early in this second half. And was a threat all evening. They don't have one dominant goal scorer this season, Hume. In the past it's been the likes of Isgrove, or beforehand Josh Bingham getting well into double figures, but they do have a good spread. Harker's got 7. Isgrove's got 6, a couple more have 5. Godfrey DeBelle's got 2. O'Kane, who's just come on as a substitute, he's got 4, so they do have plenty of options there. It's a good sign for them. Especially ahead of a finals campaign, which they hope to have, and which this result will go towards ensuring. Still a little way to go for that, but they've done what they've had to do tonight, Hume City. Next week they travel to Tomset Stadium to play Melbourne Knights, so they would fancy their chances for another win there. It's another team deep in the relegation zone. Whilst for Port Melbourne, they play Dandy City at JL Murphy. And who knows, depending on how results go over the rest of the weekend, particularly the Altona Magic game tomorrow, they could be officially relegated by the time that game kicks off. Oching. He just doesn't stop running. You know, Yisel has just come on, got the fresh legs. He takes on McCloskey down the near side. He'll get to the byline and he'll win his side a corner. Oching getting some writing instructions from Nick Hegarty on the touchline. This will be a much needed win for Hume City. Talk about their finals chances and wanting to play finals, but they have lost 4 on the bounce coming into this. So this will come as a huge relief as the corner is drifted in. It's a long one. It's a bit too long from Kellart. Yankolowski to Laban. And that goes up and down the chimney and straight into the path of Oching, who's happy to recover. And Hume go all the way back to Camilleri. Be interesting to see whether he keeps his spot in the team. Did make a mistake which resulted in the Port Melbourne goal. on 21 minutes. He has struggled at times with his goal kicking tonight in difficult conditions. It'll be interesting to see whether Nick Hegarty continues with him for the business end of the season. Here's Harbinson. He's worked hard. Shot on goal doesn't make the distance. Port Melbourne recycle though. Have they got a late goal in them? Laban into the area. Bingham knocks it clear up towards Harker, holding the ball up. He's copped a knock there, Robert Harker. He's down on his haunches. Play goes on though, and Port Melbourne go on. Great ball in from McCloskey. And Harbinson couldn't quite get there in time. This is as close as they've come to scoring since they did score in the first half, Port Melbourne. Anyone deserves a goal for them, it's Finn Harbinson. Can't question his work rate and his effort. Just couldn't quite get there in time on that occasion. Clearance holds up in the breeze, but at least it stays in the field of play from Camilleri this time. Towards Yankolovsky. You see it roll out of play. Reardon. O'Kane loses it in midfield, and here's Trycheski galloping forward. Now towards Harbinson, who's got some room. Has Mills in support. He goes himself, Harbinson. And he hit that well. Just fizzed over the crossbar. He comes off and gets a drink for his trouble. Bit of pickle juice, maybe. To help him through the last 5 or so minutes. This game ticking down towards its conclusion. The result has been beyond doubt for a fair while. 5 minutes of normal time to play. Interesting to see how much stoppage time we get, if indeed we get any, as Hume almost make a mess of this clearance again. Ashcroft headed it back to his keeper. He was relieved to get his hands around it. I don't want another mix-up at the back tonight, Hume. It's been a good night for them, but I want to cut out those sort of mistakes which resulted in the Port Melbourne goal, and which have at times worried them this evening. Here's McCloskey. Camus. Camus again in front of the Hume City bench where there's more movement. There's going to be another change. Trycheski goes to ground and then sends the ball out of play, almost as though he wants Hume City to be able to make that change, because that's what he's allowed them to do. It's going to be Kalen Akar who comes on. And Josh Bingham, the skipper, will make way. No goals tonight, but another very solid shift from the Hume stalwart. Such a workhorse up top. Winning the ball, holding it up. He's the sort of striker whose impact is not really measured in goals, at least not this season. Certainly still a handful for any defence if he's not banging them in himself. Akar is taken down pretty crudely in his first involvement in the game. Tatafu to take the free kick, and he rolls it back to Camilleri, who ends up on his backside with the goal kick. They have been a problem for him tonight. As Port Melbourne come forward, it's just over the shoulder of Harbinson, and Camilleri out to gather it. He gets his hands around this, but again, they just don't seem to be on the same wavelength at the back at times, Hume City, so it's a bit of a lingering concern for them on what's otherwise been a great night. It'll be their first win in over a month. But there'll still be some work for Nick Hegarty and his coaching staff to do. Here's Trajeski, who's battled hard. Laban, McCloskey, Mills, back towards McCloskey, who's got the beating of Ocheng, and then he tests Camilleri, who is up to the task. He went for goal, McCloskey, and I don't think his coach is too happy. I think he feels he should have gone maybe to one of his teammates instead. He went for goal. And Reedon's gone down. You could hear him yell from here as he got caught from behind, Aaron Reedon. But he's up and okay. He's had an industrious shift in midfield. 4 minutes of stoppage time to go.
The only good action he did in the whole game, he kept the ball on the ground, the ball took the speed, and we scored the goal. The only good action. And I think he was
Fair to say, no one here will be hanging around too long, I wouldn't have thought. It's not that sort of night. We're going to be hightailing it to the car park and getting home to go in front of the fire after this. It has been a frigid evening, and the wind has not died down one iota. But Hume City won't care. They will get the win. That's all they'll worry about. Been a very tough period since Nick Hegarty came in to replace Riccardo Marchioli. Raised a few eyebrows at the time and then didn't look great results-wise, but this result might have the sides around them raising a few eyebrows. Here's Yisil. Can he add to the scoreline? He's just come on. Oh, lovely interplay. O'Kane slides it across the face of goal. That would have been the best of the lot. Beating 13th place Port Melbourne is not the most surprising result, but some of the goals they've scored tonight, Hume, really have been easy on the eye. Some of their build-up play, some of their one-touch passing in the box has really been a feature. It's that sort of football which could hold them in good stead if they do make the finals. And at the moment, they're in the box seat to do that. Dis with the throw. Harker. Romish will just bang it clear. Addis almost sent it straight into the midriff of his teammate O'Kane. Trajeski. All the way back to Romic, who needs to get rid of it. Laban, and he's lost out the skipper. O'Kane wins it back, and now Yissel. This is an opportunity. Shot blocked. Kellard. Harker thought he could have had a shot for a hat-trick, but he was just denied at the last. But he could still have an opportunity here because it's another corner. Maybe the last of the night. They've had a stack of them, Hume. Scored from one right before half-time to put them in front. Can they score here right at the death? Kellard will take it from the far side. Camus heads away. O'Kane traps it. O'Kane goes down. He's inside the area now. Yissel! Oh, on the outside of the boot he scored, but the referee will rule it out. The whistle was blown just as that ball was on its way. It was a lovely finish from Yissel. They might still have an opportunity here. Now Reardon, we're into the final minute of stoppage time. Hume looking for a fifth. They won't have time, but it won't matter. 4 is more than enough for Hume City to break a run of 4 straight losses and to keep themselves in the top 6 with 3 games to go, whilst consigning Port Melbourne ever closer to the drop. It could yet be made official this weekend. They actually got off to a great start here, Port Melbourne, with their first goal in a month through George Mills on 21 minutes when he picked up a spill by the goalkeeper and tapped it into the open net. But from then, it was pretty much one-way traffic. Robert Harker put Hume back on level terms less than 10 minutes later with a nice finish, and then Lloyd Isgrove from a goalmouth scramble following a corner put Hume in front on the stroke of half-time. And then in the second half, even though they were playing into the breeze, you wouldn't have known it because they really put Port Melbourne to the sword with a lovely goal from Godfrey DeBelle on 58 minutes, making it 3-1 and putting the game to bed. And then Robert Harker added a second, slicing his way right through the middle of the Port Melbourne defence to score his second and to score Hume City's 4th. So they dominated in all areas, Hume City, and on the score sheet with the statistic that matters more than most, the goals. And they scored 4 and Port Melbourne scored 1. And that's the way it finishes here at a very cold Nessiel Stadium. Hume City 4, Port Melbourne 1. Cade Lucas is my name. Good night.